Well, hello my friends on YouTube. This is going to be a bit of a different video. As you can see, I'm not at home. I'm actually out on my bike. So what we're going to do is I'm going to ride through the park here, one-handed, on my bike, and we're just going to talk about some audio stuff. So if you will join me today, that would be awesome. So hello and welcome to a Saturday. This is a Saturday vlog. I know some of the wind is going to be annoying if I'm moving too fast, so I'm going to try to take it easy. This is actually one of the parks that I grew up in when I was young, and what I wanted to talk about was the influence of our surroundings and our environment on our learning and inspiration. So things like what got me into audio, the things that I was interested in, things I was doing when I was young, family members that listened to music when I was young, equipment that I was familiar with. I didn't have vinyl in my environment when I was young, so I had no one to teach me about vinyl or reel-to-reel. It was mostly cassettes and CDs. I started out doing radio podcasts, sort of. It wasn't called podcast because that comes from the iPod. But when I was younger, I used to record sort of like mock radio stations into a cassette player, like a radio sort of thing where you could play other music and you could record tape to tape. So I would pretend to be an announcer or a DJ on the radio, and then I would pick a song and then play the song and then stop talking, and then it was sort of like a mixtape, but it was like doing my own voiceover. It was pretty fun. And at that time I was about 7 or 8 years old, and I lived in this neighborhood. This is the park that I would walk or play or whatever when I was that old. So I thought it would be really interesting to kind of come down here and just do something different for the channel. As many of you know and follow along, I have been between amplifiers the last month. I've been blessed to borrow the Orchard Audio Star Crimson Ultra amplifier, which is awesome. It sounds really great. I love its character. Has really good control and grip over the bass. High frequencies are very clear, pronounced. Nothing really stand out. There's absolutely zero noise floor, which is amazing. I'm running it via XLR through the Rotel. The Rotel preamp has a higher noise floor than the Orchard Audio. I don't know why. Could be my grounding, could be my building, but the Orchard Audio's got absolutely no noise floor or hiss or anything. Perfect. So that being said, I've been going back and forth with the designer owner of Orchard Audio, Leo, about amps, and I've got a different one in, so I'm gonna have to do like a video or talk about that coming up. Maybe an unboxing, but I don't really want to do that. You can talk about what it sounds like, the usual stuff. That'll be fun. Sorry about that little bit of an edit. Somebody walking along the path. I didn't want to be rude. Although this is Canada, so you see how polite I'm being. We're actually at the end of the park right here, so I am going to actually turn around and go back. The irony, I'm going to have to ride by that same person again. This time the other way around. So yes, I have a different Orchard Audio amp. It's going to be the Duo. The Duo is a stereo amp with the Star Crimson modules. The Star Crimson Ultra is a higher powered module, and the one I was using is a stereo version with the Ultras, so it was 250 or 500 times 2 amp, and the Duo was going to be a 150/300 times 2. I don't anticipate very much difference in the sound signature. I wasn't really cranking my volume up a lot, so I'm not going to hear any compression in my bass. I'm not going to hear any missing low-end notes. I feel like my listening volume's pretty low anyways, so I'm not really going to need a lot of bass extension. However, the Duo is actually more aligned with the premium version, which has better chassis, different power supply, a couple of different features. And I was thinking about getting the premium monoblocks because of stereo separation, stuff like that. Power supply only has one job to do, stuff like that. And I was interested in that, so Leo suggested I listen to the Duo because it's two of the similar lower powered amp modules. So once I have finished listening to the Duo and getting my impressions of the sound and how it performs and what I think of that kind of thing with my room, not to mention the fact that I might be getting new speakers eventually, and then of course speakers creates like a whole other thing with the signal chain. So I have to evaluate and think about what I'm going to do in a timely manner. The other amplifiers on my short list, because I have a Rotel preamp and I know the guys at Rotel pretty well, I thought about using Rotel. There's a number of amps in their lineup. The RB1582 Mark II is probably the one that's mostly in line with what I need. It's 200 watts by 2, nice toroidal transformer, really good damping factor. It's about 800, so that's pretty good. I feel like that would be the sweet spot. I'm gonna hang out here in the shade for a little bit, give my arm a bit of a rest. So the 1582, is it a 1582 or 52? So there's a 1552, which I think is 130 watts a channel, and then there's an 82, which is 200 watts a channel. A little bit different specs on it, more wattage, obviously bigger transformer, certain things like that. And then there's a big boy. There's a 1590, which is 350 watts per channel, dual toroidal transformers, dual monoblock construction inside the chassis from the inputs, the voltage inputs. So I don't know, I'm thinking maybe the 1590. The problem is budget. I had to buy an air conditioner recently. The money that I have available to actually do any kind of hi-fi has been put on hold per se because, you know, life and priorities and work and things like that. So I have to think about what I'm doing. And I also not sure I want an 85-pound amplifier in my room. I mean, sure, the fidelity is going to be great, and Class AB, you know, there's going to be heat dissipation. So it made me start thinking about budget and what can I get in a Class D, much like the GANFET technology in Orchard Audio. What can I do in that respect? So I started looking at DIY kits and things that I can get in terms of Class D, and then there are a number of different options there, but I'm not 100% sure. It's such a wild thing because given I have the same set of speakers, yes, same room, yes, but I can't afford to have all these amps in and demo them, and I don't know what they're going to sound like. I don't know what they're going to pair like. That's the wonder and the question of audio, is you're going to spend your money and you want to know that you're going to get what you're paying for. You're going to want to like what you pay for. So this is where a lot of the arguments come in, where, yeah, if you spend a lot of money, you want to justify and like use a confirmation bias to tell yourself, yes, I made the right decision because you just spent all that money. You want it to be good because you invested. It's not always the case. So that's why I have all these levels of anxiety, because I realize that I could easily do that to myself and get caught in this sort of like, well, you paid for it, now you gotta love it. And I'm not sure that that's gonna be the best thing. There's so many different kinds of amps, and I don't know, I guess it's not unstable, but it's rational thinking in terms of technology, because they all sound different. They're all going to give a different kind of performance. Sorry, I'm just stopping to appreciate the color out here in nature today. I think this is a chestnut tree. I recognize these leaves, the leaf shapes. When these flowers are properly pollinated, they're going to sprout out with these spiky balls that encase the chestnuts themselves. And if I'm not mistaken, when I was younger, we would come down to some of these trees, maybe not this one because it's a little small, but there's another one up in the neighborhood. We would actually throw these spiked chestnuts at each other as kids, running around the neighborhood. So we'd come back in and we'd be like all full of spiked and little bloody holes. Getting off topic. The whole point is to say, with all the influences and things that I've experienced in life have led me to this point in my life where I'm making these decisions, and the awareness of how many things make a difference, like my awareness of this tree, I'm anticipating certain things in the equipment that I'm buying, and I'm using my past knowledge to give me a perspective on what to buy, how to invest, how to spend wisely. I would feel rather foolish if I came this far in hi-fi and made a decision that didn't actually yield my best results, or I didn't feel the best about it. I mean, of course, I can't know everything. There's new technologies all the time. Orchard Audio's new. Buckeye using Purify modules are new. Ice Power, Encore, Hypex. Like there's lots of different kinds of Class D modules, and they're all slightly different. How am I supposed to know? Input stage, input buffers, power supply tweaking. I don't know all these things. So of course there's a bit of anticipation, anxiety there. But it's the best that I can do is use the information I have, gather information from others, seek the best deal that I can afford, and roll the dice. Because at the end of the day, of course, I'm going to keep investing, and somebody else might want what I want, and I can tell others about what I have, and maybe they will buy from me, and then I can turn the money back into something else. Of course, at a loss, but that's the nature of exploration. We can only do our best. So, given that, I'm going to ride through the park. My arm's really tired from doing this one-handed. Maybe I'll add to the end of it once I get home. So, yeah, let's do that. And I'll see you from home. Thanks for watching this far. Cheers. And I'm back at home. It's been a couple hours, actually, if I'm really honest. I got home, rested, grabbed some drinks, started looking around online for stuff. I'm still juggling my amplifier thing, been talking with people online, asking questions, getting into fights, all that usual stuff. But I have an unboxing to do. Let's grab a knife. I'm going to do the unboxing anyways because I can't think of any other content to do right now. I don't want to show the label on the box. So I'm going to have to be careful about how I do this. And maybe take the label off first. Let's do that. I don't have any nails. It's always a good idea to actually have like unboxings on video, so that way you can showcase what came out of the box, what it looked like. You can have some sort of proof, with any brands or companies. That way it's proof that you didn't have any effect on the product or whatever when you opened it and that kind of thing. It's sort of like, cover your own ass type of mentality. As long as there's no address on here, I'm okay. I don't have any nails, so I can't peel this label off. Oh my god. Okay, there. My address is covered up. Anyways, open the other side. There's a little pouch there with something in it. I have no idea what it is. Just open that. That's probably some shipping information. Receipts of some kind. So much stuff just to ship a box. But at least it got here on time. Cool. I think that's all I need for the unboxing. And it's another Star Crimson Duo Trio amplifier. Warning, high voltage. So this has been properly packaged from the warehouse. It's good packaging, good all-around support. So this is actually a Trio model, or maybe this isn't connected. I don't know exactly what's connected on the inside. There is a heat sink in here, so you can actually see if there's a board tuned in. So it's a Duo Trio. It's very light, as you can see. I can easily pick this up with one hand. Absolutely no problems there. One thing that I am going to see as an issue is I don't see any power cord with this. So I'm going to have to use my own power cord, which is okay because these amplifiers actually come with some specifications. You have to actually specify whether they come with a power cord or not. So obviously I need to include my own power cord. So that can go in the closet. And then this is a freshly sealed box. We have some tape on the bottom. Don't want to cut the plastic. Oh, well, let's just sit down and do this slowly, shall we? So, no music today, which is a good thing. YouTube always gives me shit for having music in the background anyways. It's just us talking. So I believe I have a power cable somewhere. Otherwise, I guess I'm not listening to this thing. It's unexpected. I had a power cord in the other box, but I returned it because that was kind of part of the deal. If I don't have a power cable, I don't want to be forced to, like, I'm not going to buy an extra power cable just for this. So we'll see how that goes. But the thing is like, look, that's what I own right now. There's no amplifier in my system at all. If I need to listen to music, I have to borrow stuff like I am with this Orchard Audio amplifier here. I was looking forward to listening to it, but I guess with no power cable, it's going to be a little bit complicated. Why so much? Hold on. And I'm back after a little bit of frustration and clearing the tape off that freaking plastic bag. There's the amplifier. Very clean, pristine. Free advertising for Orchard Audio. Star Crimson Duo Trio. Okay, so I found out, if you look through the back, there's the terminal connections for the speakers, and there's nothing in there. So they've included binding posts and a cap for the XLR. So, like, I don't understand why you would put the binding posts on if you're not going to connect a module. If you're going to close those holes, why not those holes? I mean, it's one way of running, like, you have one standard chassis and you have to run options when you're doing production, and I get it. It's, you know, it's standard procedure. You just attach them, and just in case, I guess you can add a module later. I mean, even the binding posts are turned upwards. The spade connectors are turned upwards. That's interesting. I guess away from the floor or away from a surface. Anyhow, it's very nice feet that are on here, actually. Really nice copper brass fittings here for future installation, I guess. There's something on this side, something on this side, and then the standouts and pin spots for the modules on the inside. So you've got 1 amp there, or screw points there for this amp, this one for this one, this one for this one. Then this would be, I guess, the power supplies. There's 1, 2, 3, and then across the middle there's other standoffs. It's hard to tell without opening it, and I'm certainly not going to open it. I mean, if there was a kit for this, I could build one and show everybody, but I don't think there is a kit for this one. So, very tiny, tiny little amp. And I have a feeling the next ones are going to be even smaller. That's the way it goes. It's no longer a day and age of giant power blocks. I mean, look how silly that almost looks. Giant Arundel Tower speakers up to 250 watts power handling, and a tiny little Class D amplifier sitting there. And like I said, I have a feeling that my next amps are going to be even smaller than that. I had a number of amps on deck, like I talked about earlier in the video, which I will edit, obviously. A Rotel amp. I just looked online for a bunch of other amps. I got a lot of suggestions from people. There's a number of different really highly sought after amps right now. A lot of people are recommending Odyssey amps, brand name I've never even heard of before. Outlaw Audio, which I don't hear a lot about. I mean, obviously they still sell things, but they have zero presence in the media. There's only a few people that have ever reviewed them and put them online, tested them. I saw a used amplifier, Bryston amplifier, 4BST. Pretty good name brand, lots of longevity there. I know the company's gone through some changes. So it's like, in all honesty, it's really hard for me to know what to do next based on whatever money I can afford to spend on amps, and certainly without really good deals to get the best of the best and not knowing who has what. It's kind of a toss-up. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Anyways, I'm going to find a power cord for this. I'm going to do some listening. I'll come back and do a video of everything else later. Like I said, some free advertising there for Orchard Audio, but I do appreciate the lending of the amplifier, considering I don't own one right now. And it gives me an opportunity to listen before I buy. So for that opportunity, I am grateful. So excuse my sarcasm and my sense of humor. A lot of people don't understand me when I speak and type and text, and I really hope that people get through all of that and realize that I'm mostly just playing around. Anyhow, enjoy the rest of the Saturday. I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks for joining and watching this video. It's going to be almost 20 minutes long by the looks of it. And I will let you know what I think and what it sounds like in future videos. If you're on Instagram or Facebook, then follow along. I'll post clips of that once I get it hooked up, and we'll talk soon. Yeah. All right. Laters.